Well, good morning, folks. Today we're doing the Elbow Loop Trail, and it's already raining, so it's going to be interesting. First bridge. And we're going clockwise. And folks, it's completely backcountry. We're not in cell phone signal, so I have a satellite tracking device with me. And I'm traveling alone, so I have my first aid kit, bear spray, food, water, etc. And we'll take our time. We're not going to rush it. Got my camera loaded in the front in a garbage bag so it doesn't get wet. And see how the old girl performs. She should do just fine. I've got a fully charged battery. And the Elbow Trail Loop is about 50 kilometers. I'm expecting it to take me about 3 hours. I also have a brand new light raincoat, which is supposed to be for light rain. First day and it rains. That's going to be a good test as well. I just had to stop and put the hood up over the helmet. It seems to be big enough to put on the outside of the helmet. Keep my head dry. My legs and shorts, well, they're just going to get wet. It's not that cold, so we should be fine. No waterproof gloves, but I do have a spare pair in case. I'm not expecting the rain to last that long. A lot of mud. That could be a big deal today. And luckily I put a new back tire on last week, so we've got decent tread there. Okay, looks like we've got our first uphill climb. And slippery rock. That should be interesting. First gear, let's just first gear it. Of course, you need to bring your puncher kit. Last thing you want to do is be stuck on the trail with a flat tire and have to walk back. Past 5. Wow, that handles it no problem. What a contrast. Last week Alberta's Badlands, this week mountains and forests. I'm steering around most of the puddles because I'm not sure how deep they are. Whoops. The ground definitely is loose. For those of you that have watched quite a few of my videos, you will have noticed that I upgraded to full hydraulic brakes. Quite pleased that I have. They perform much better in the wet. One of the upsides of talking to myself, well, you guys, is to keep the noise up. So if there are any bears in the territory, they can hear me coming. As you can see, it's definitely a rocky trail. We're now down to a light drizzle. Hopefully in a few minutes it stops raining altogether. Then we can get the camera out, get some landscape photographs. A few more puddles. You know, I'm on a hardtail fat bike, and let me tell you, hardtail on this thing really means hard. It's carrying the hub motor as well as luggage. It's a thump, thump, thump. But to make my life easier, I've got a suspension seat post And I tell you, it does an amazing job. This rocky road is not jolting my back around. It's actually quite comfortable. The Sun Tour Seatpost really has been worth its money. I seem to be crossing a bit of a riverbed. Well, somebody's been through here because every now and then I see a bike track. Down to first gear. I never use first gear, but I'm actually finding it's quite comfortable. So the key thing for me, if I ride backcountry, there's no cell phone signal. So you are on your own. And that literally means you need to take care of yourself. I carry a first aid kit, and I carry a satellite beacon that allows me to call for help, send messages if I need to. I hope to never need it, but it's reassuring knowing that I have it. For other people, make your own decisions. As a minimum, don't travel on your own. But if you're a solo traveler like me, you've got to take those precautions. And then, of course, water, perhaps even tablets, so that you can use the water along the way, you know, in case you run out of water. Food, bring an extra jacket in case the weather turns. Another important one, bear spray. And then, of course, tools for your bike, a tube, a patch kit, puncture repair kit. Important one, chain breaker, in case your chain breaks and you have to repair. And that's about it. It's quite a bit of stuff. We'd rather be safe than sorry. All right, just to show you, I thought I'd just fire off a I'm okay message. There you go, you can see from the green lights. It says it's transmitted via satellite. So those at home know that I'm still in one piece. Let's see it, it's sort of stopped raining too. Very nice. So we're gonna dismount here, get a couple of photographs. There's still a little bit of spitting rain, so I can't completely remove all the water covers yet. Just look at this. Thought I'd use my selfie stick to show you the landscapes around here. We've got some beautiful mist going on, or fog, depending on how you want to interpret it. Look at that. Beautiful. Everything seems dry enough. So I've taken off all the covers. I can see my display and my phone. Raincoat seems to have done fine. Not wet underneath, which is a great thing. It means it's semi-breathable, I guess. Really traveling along slowly, sort of 12 to 15 kilometers per hour. It's a nice pace, actually. Well, the rain started spitting again, so we had to stop and cover everything up. May as well leave it that way. It doesn't look like it's going to clear anytime soon. We've got a huge climb ahead of us. which I knew about. So let's get it done. Probably going to need first gear, so I'm just going to start out in first gear straight off. 1 and 5. Climbs nicely. But more of a climb ahead of me. Works best just to go straight to first gear and past 5. I actually have to get up out of the saddle. Bit steep. So far, I haven't seen a single soul. Give myself a little bit more pass, so we've got the power. There's hope for the best. Okay, that was easy. But you never know how deep it is or how soft the mud is underneath. Lovely adventure. It's turning out to be everything I wanted it to be. Cool, with clouds with texture, because it works better for photographs. A little bit of water and mud along the way. Another climb ahead of me. Nothing too serious. It's one thing with the wide angle lens, it doesn't show you the steepness. And what goes up must go down. We'll hang on the back brake more than the front, that's for sure. Going down here. Okay, let's do this. Shift my weight to the back. I really feel the back was dragging a little bit like an anchor. I really hope the camera's capturing the terrain around here. It's quite stunning. Breathtaking. I know I say it all the time, but it's true. More water. Wouldn't really want to put a foot down in the mud. I saw my first cyclist. He was having a sip of water straight out of the river. And he didn't hear me, so I didn't want to frighten him. Making our way onto so the elbow. Whoa. Look at this uphill. We're going to have to walk, yeah, that's for sure. Yep. We have reached the point of having to walk. You definitely need your bike's walk mode in that section. We lost all these bridges in the 2014 flooding. So it's nice to see that they've all been reconstructed. The Elbow Loop Trail is made up of the Big Elbow Trail and the Little Elbow Trail. You've got to keep your eyes peeled for the turnoff, which seems to be fairly well marked with little orange beacons fastened on the tree. Clearly they get a lot of moisture in here because there's moss growing on the ground. Another climb. We've got to get up on top of the mountain. This is a fairly long climb, this one. But at least it's not 60 degrees. I can still work with this. Oh, got the heart rate going now. First gear has become my go-to gear now. Everything else seems way too difficult. But then my bike only has 7 gears to work with. Well, my motor has switched off to cool down. This low RPM for the hub drive is just not optimal. That's a big negative for hub drives. I've got to let it cool down for a bit. So at the moment we're riding along with no power. Battery or the motor is obviously overheated, now needs to calm down. It's turning on, controller's turning on, it's getting the power, but after like 20 or 30 meters it cuts out. It clearly needs to cool down. Not exactly a fun exercise to be stuck in the backcountry and have to pedal this baby out. But that is one of the benefits of an e-bike. You can pedal it, except 80 pounds is hardly light. Luckily, we're on a downhill section. Now, of course, I can't cruise along slowly. I need the bloody momentum to keep me going. Pedal through the mud now. We've got power again. But now I'm not wasting my time. I'm using it while it's there. Another bridge. In second gear, it's not exactly enough to keep the motor cool. I like to stay above 15 kilometers an hour. And that's positively fast. Okay, folks, I'm going to walk up this hill, save the motor from overheating. Well, that was a great learning experience for others with hub motors. Be careful, they can overheat. I don't think it overheated, it's just a precaution. Shit. Now we're walking in the water. This is not the best. There we go. Oh boy, that is steep. Show you what I'm walking up. And it's taking a while to get there. Using walk mode on the bike. Thank God for that. Last little section. And then hopefully we're over the worst of it. Hi. First hikers I've seen. Bit of a steep descent there. To get off and walk. Oh, a lot of up and down. Steep ups and downs. We've got a bit of downhill. Thank goodness for that. Saw a deer run across my path. There she goes. You're not going to see that on the camera. Wow, this is beautiful. Well, I stopped for a quick coffee break. Removed all the rain gear again. I think I'm sweating more than it's raining anyway. It's great to have coffee, that's for sure. And a banana. Give me some energy. I laugh because when you do your research, first thing you do is you go to YouTube and you see the other guys that have cycled the trail. And it reminds me of when I went to Scotland once to take photographs. And when we got to the site, there was this steep mountain we had to walk up. But in none of the YouTube videos had they pointed that out. Well, it's the same with this trail. You see the bikes, they all ride it, everything looks great. You read the reviews, everyone says, yeah, intermediate, beginner. You get here, and there's 3 or 4 uphills where you have to walk, but nobody tells you that. And those are the important bits. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it, that's for sure. I'm going to highlight the hard bits. Could a beginner do the trail? Sure, just be prepared to walk the steep bits. Intermediate, same thing. Personally, I think it's more of an intermediate trail, only because there's so much walking, and I mean in reference to an e-bike. If you don't know where your walk mode is, for example, you're pushing a heavy lump of steel uphill. You need to rely on walk mode, and if your bike doesn't have walk mode and it's a hub drive, you're pushing a lot of weight uphill. I say hub drive because the mid drives probably the engine runs more efficiently, and it's not going to switch off because you're dumping too much power into the motor. Let's stand up, see if we can get up this section. No. This is probably walk number 5. It's probably too far for you to see at the moment, but at the bottom you'll see there's like an orange square on the tree, and that is, take note, something is happening with the trail. It's diverting one way or the other. And I obviously didn't pay attention, took the wrong one because there's a tree down. So we walk back to the diversion and we go the other way. And that, folks, was the diversion. It's diverted us onto the riverbed because there's a tree that's fallen down across the old path. You need to keep your balance on this or get off and walk. Oh my God, look at that. Another huge uphill. May as well dismount here and walk. Now we've got the steep downhills, of course. See if we can moderate these brakes so as to get down without seeing our arse. Whoa, the back wheel's already starting to slip and slide. I've already shifted my weight back as far as it'll go. There we go. At this stage of the game, I can't tell you conclusively whether clockwise is better than counterclockwise. I can tell you, if you want to work out, or if you want to test whether your bike is up to the challenge, this trail is it. I mean, if you've got an expensive specialist e-bike, I expect this is easy. And for the rest of us, it's a bit of a challenge. Another long uphill ahead of me. Just seeing some fresh bear scat. Don't really want to encounter grizzly on this trail right now. It's not like I can exactly speed down these up and down hills. We'll be on a bit of a flat section for a bit. is hopefully that 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers I've just come through is the hardest section. We're making a bit of progress now. I thought we were well into the trip, but we're only 23 k's in, and according to me, just over 2.5 hours. So the mountain bikes that are doing it in 2.5 to 3 hours, they're moving. You definitely have to stand up on your pedals quite a bit. Keep your balance. Of course, I'm not a mountain biker, but I have an adventure motorcycle background, and there are similarities or overlaps. And of course, I'll have a map for you, as usual, in the description. We really haven't had a lot of downhill, so I'm guessing once we summit the top, we're going to have a long downhill all the way back. I'm going to use my past 5 sparingly because it's evidently dumping too much power into the motor. Right, time to walk. I won't lie to you. I'm looking forward to some flat terrain or downhill. Just walking uphill has been going on too long now. If you don't set up your front wheel properly, it's a lot riskier. Yeah, like going through here. Ooh. That went through okay. I've got a little tree to deal with. Let's see. Maybe we can do some trail maintenance. Move this out of the way for the next guy. Yeah, here we go. Feels like the rain's going to start again. I'm going to have to do the whole cover my gear exercise. Let's walk. It's too tricky otherwise. Come on. There we go. And flat terrain. Okay, lean back. Set up the front tire. Let's go. Ooh, wrong gear. Bad anticipation there. What have we got here? Steep. Let's see, how far will we get before the bike starts to slip? I'm sure you can hear the back tire barely hanging on there. come on. Can we get up? Yes. Okay. Rain's getting too much now. Well, it's raining again. And we're still struggling with the uphills. Reminds me of skiing. When you get into difficult terrain and it's a combination of sidestep, walk, skiing, it's exhausting. You know, the old saying, don't count your chickens before they hatch. It's going along easily now, but you never know. Been through a hellish section of steep uphills. There we go. Again, let me not get too optimistic. Well, we've definitely hit the downhill. We've been going down for a few minutes now. Got a water crossing in front from all the rain. Let's see, what are we going to do? I'm not going to take my chances. Let's just use the bridge. Got to tell you, a while ago, I installed XOD full hydraulic brakes. I think I mentioned earlier in the video. They have performed flawlessly in the rain and the steep descents. One of the best upgrades I ever did. So any of you considering upgrading to full hydraulics, I'll put a link in the description as well for you. Well, with doing, I think it cost me just over $100. 4 piston. I mean, it's superb. Must admit, your shoulders and arms take a bit of a pounding. The constant downhill, you've got your weight pushing onto the handlebars. The second half of this journey has been great because it's mostly been flat and downhill. That middle section to get up over the summit. Wow, a lot of walking. What I learned is, well, for my bike, it can't handle past 5 for long, slow periods of time. But if you stay in 4 and then I go to 5, just for short bursts, then it seems to work just fine. We can stop here for our snack and our coffee. What's going on? Something feels funny. I have a puncture. Oh my God. Okay, well, let's see how far we get before we have to deal with that. Well, we got a front tire puncture, but I got tennis armor in there, and apparently you can ride on it for a while. I've still got some air in the tire and I've only got 10 kilometers to go. So hopefully we get back to the vehicle before I need to repair. I certainly don't feel like stripping out the tube now when I'm so close to the end. Of course it's unstable, a little bit unstable. Must be a very slight puncture given that I've got tennis armor. So obviously just penetrated through and just pierced the tube. 10 kilometers is still a fair distance. Those of you that are not running a large battery, like at least a 700 watt hour, you might struggle. I'm running a 960 and I'm already down 3 bars. So bear that in mind. You might have to bring spare battery. I'm going to have to get off and walk with this front tire. This front puncher is stressing me out a little. We're so close to the end, but obviously it's getting worse. And I really don't want to have to turn the bike upside down and repair the puncture now. I've got all the gear. I've got a spare tube as well. It might be easier just to swap the tube and to search for a puncture. Even pumping the tire up now is not helping much. But it's raining. It's hardly the ideal conditions to repair a puncture. Shouldn't take me long, 15 minutes or so. Well, folks, bike's battery's flat. I've got about 5 kilometers to go. I might have to walk it out. Front puncture. GoPro battery's flat. So thank you for coming along for the ride. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Folks, consider this an addendum video to the Elbow Loop Trail that I just completed. The video ended suddenly, and I'm not going to go through a detailed explanation of everything that went wrong and how to mitigate. That I'll do in a follow-up video. Suffice to say that I walked out the last 5 kilometers. Thank you for coming along with me. Please like and subscribe. I'll keep delivering this type of material. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.